Well, joining us now is Jeffrey Tarayao, President of One Meralco Foundation, to talk about its Household Electrification Program and, of course, other initiatives. Good morning. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you for joining us on a Christmas
Good
day.
to have
Glad
you here.
have you here. You said a lot of things in the video, but of course, we'd like to ask you, what does it really mean for families in Pasig and Quezon City to finally have legal and safe connections?
Yeah.
And how do you go about this? Because madaming fear sa kanila na, oy, nakikabit lang ako or may jumper ako, baka may kaso or ano. Could you shed light on this?
First, magandang umaga and maligayang Pasko to
Yes.
both of you and to everyone who's watching us. Yes, this project is very, I think, meaningful at Christmas season. Christmas season is a festival of lights.
Yes.
Diba? The parol, you see everywhere. And nakakalungkot sa mga pamilyang hindi nakakapaglagay ng parol o nagtatago sa dilim, lalo ngayong Pasko. And this is a perfect example of how we, try to free people from the challenges of electrification. We energize low-income households in the Meralco franchise area and work with the different local governments, including the barangay level, to identify families who deserve this kind of program. Normally, sila yung mga nakikikabit
Jumper.
sa kapitbahay.
Yes, yes.
At yung kumakabit na jumper, illegal yun. No?
Yes.
Yung iba kasi naka-submeter sa kapitbahay nila, no?
Right.
At sila minsan napagsasamantalahan with a higher rate, no? Than what Meralco charges. Kasi nga hindi naman kanila. So what we're trying to do is to really free them from that
Burden.
situation and burden, by directly connecting them to Meralco.
So they have their own
Yes,
meter.
magkakaroon sila ng sariling metro. At the greatest impact of that is first productivity in their own
Yes.
households. Kasi dati-rati you can only energize so much dahil sisingilin ka. Minsan may naniningil na, kung may ref ka, meron kang TV, mas marami. Ang appliances mo, mas malaki ang sisingilin sa'yo. But at least now, diretso na sila sa Meralco.
Exactly.
And so this is a partnership between One Meralco Foundation, our business centers,
Yes.
Meralco business centers, and the local governments. And of course, our technical team who really extends the lines. No? Yung legal na linya, all the way into, naman in informal settler areas, for example, di ba? Sa labit sila, gano'n. Inaayos yun ng ating technical team.
Right.
So it really emancipates the families from the burden of submetering and overpriced charging of the kapitbahay.
And the beauty of this is also, it gives them dignity.
Oh, yes.
Diba?
Oh, yeah.
Sa bahay mo may kuryente ka.
Oo, kasi we've encountered some households na alam nilang ang tingin sa kanila ng iba nilang kasamahan sa community, nagnanakaw sila ng kuryente.
Yeah.
Ngayong meron na silang sariling kuryente, taas noon na silang nakakapaglakad sa mga eskinita at alam nilang hindi na ako yung akala ninyo.
Now, I was wondering, Jeffrey, paano nyo nasa-strategize on how are you going to prioritize yung areas that you give electricity? Because we all know that there's a lot of houses here, household in the Philippines and the most far-flung areas na walang kuryente. So, paano nyo na-prioritize yung napipili?
This household electrification program that we do in One Meralco Foundation is really exclusive to the Meralco franchise area. Because the business of Meralco only operates in a certain franchise area. So we focus on that. We work with the local governments because they identify who are the low-income communities. No? And then our own people in Meralco, the one you see in the business centers, would go to these communities and double-check. So it's like their voluntarism
So they interact mismo.
also. Oh yes, they check one by one kasi di ba somehow we have a system of balance and checks, no?
Yeah.
To kung ano yung sinabit sa amin, qualified ba to talaga?
Exactly.
So you go out and look.
Yes,
Okay.
so and hindi to entirely libre, no? The foundation funds their metering centers, yung mga nakikita niyong mga metro.
Yeah.
Na sama-sama, di ba? Yung mga linya, sagot yon ng household. Kailangan meron ka ring share.
Exactly.
Hindi pwedeng totally free. So you have an ownership of this.
So it gives them a sense of ownership.
And
diba?
responsibility.
Yes. A while ago, Jeffrey, we were talking about also you were reaching out to schools
That's
and
right.
other
Oo.
areas. Talk
So
about
aside from the households that we energize in the Meralco franchise area, Outside naman, the Meralco franchise area, we go to the farthest communities in this country.
So outside?
Yes,
outside.
outside.
Okay.
So
Outside the Meralco
we go to off-grid areas and energize remote public schools, health centers, livelihood and agricultural facilities, and even water access facilities. We have about 300 schools that we've energized already. This year, we've energized 5 schools in coastal communities in Maubani. Ito yung mga hindi naaabot ng linya.
Exactly.
So, whenever we energize outside the Meralco franchise area, we energize them using solar power systems.
Okay,
So these are standalone. They're installed in their facilities, in their schools, in the health centers.
And this is at your cost?
It's at our cost, yeah. So this is really a donation from
Public service.
Meralco and the foundation. And not only that, I think we've inspired a lot of organizations that we are able to get funders from outside Meralco and our own employees. For example, this year, our employees energized, donated a solar mobile irrigation pump to farmers in Nueva Ecija.
Donated, ah?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, dahil Pasko, nagpa-fundraising sila or yung savings nila from their Christmas parties,
Yun ang bibigay.
sama-sama yan. They fundraise the entire year and then they give it to the foundation. We provide them with options sa anong pwedeng i-energize and then they choose. And then i-energize namin using solar power system.
So I wanted to ask also, before I
ahead.
move to you, yung background of all of this, because how did you, sa foundation nyo, come to a conclusion na this is what is needed? Because for a long time, a lot of people have been, you're saying, gusto kung maging taas na
Hiding in the dark.
Oo.
Well, I think maraming factors kasi. No? First, as Meralco, I think our best competency is in the energy space. So, shall we focus on other things when a fundamental need of many Filipinos is really access to electricity? So, we focus on this. But this is one of probably the most expensive programs, CSR programs that you will see. Kasi this is equipment, installation. You go to communities na walang infrastructure.
Yeah.
And so we're lucky today because there are technologies like solar power systems which are standalone now na pwedeng dalhin. So, yan. And then we see the electrification challenges across the country. And define which areas where you can really contribute the most. Education, health improvement, agriculture and livelihood, and then recently, water access is a recent addition to us. So yan. To give you an example, is schools that we've energized in island communities. Di ba? Hindi nakaka-extend yung grid doon.
Yes,
Yung linya. So solar power systems. Before, teachers would have to go to the mainland to print test papers.
Exactly.
Di ba?
Yes.
To submit their reports. Now, they can do it on the island itself. So we see a lot of those life-changing.
But you mentioned challenges, no? So what are the biggest challenges that you guys have encountered in scaling this effort? Yun nga, napag-usapan natin off-cam kanina na this is such big help, especially to the students and teachers kasi nga ang hirap ng walang kuryente.
Yes.
And there are a lot of programs in the government that are digitized already. And the main question is, paano ka mag-digitize if walang ang kuryente, ang mga far-flung areas? So what were the challenges, no, in scaling up this effort?
First, there's a fundamental challenge on geography. Mahirap dalin yung mga ganitong programs, no? You really have to go and check for yourselves, di ba? Malalayong marating yung mga lugar, no? But of course, the government is also a partner, no? So we've partnered with the Armed Forces of the Philippines, even local governments, that they help us bring this equipment to them. So yun, second, funding, because it's not cheap.
Yeah,
diba? So we get as many people as possible and organizations, inspire them, put electrification in the radar of things. Because when you begin to energize communities, lahat susunod na. I've encountered a number of communities na yung mga OFWs in their communities have begun donating to their schools. Kasi may kuryente na, donate ng refrigerator, ng television.
Pwede mag-wifi.
O kasi naglalagay din kami ng internet, di ba? So, yun yung malaking impact na nangyayari.
Nagkakaroon pa ng business. Because
Exactly.
nagkakaroon na ng ref, mga tindahan.
Yes, so yung mga households, hindi lang naman productivity at home, at bili sila ng refrigerators, freezers, para makabenta sila ng ice or any frozen goods. Yeah.
Let's move on to next year. No? What can we look forward to next year? How many more
You know,
families will be helped?
Electrification is a long-term program. So we continue to provide these electrification access programs. We're looking about 7,000 households to be energized next year. Normally, the schools, health centers, we energize 1 or 2 facilities every month. Kasi malalayo rin. Tapos babagyuhin ka pa, di ba? Mahirap makarating in island communities and in mountain communities. Yeah.
Alright. So you mentioned earlier yung mga sino-solar niyo yung mga schools, ano, na binibigyan niyo sila ng solar lamps. Can you tell us more about it? Yung solar lamps niyo, emergency kits, and reforestation programs to support, of course, the community resilience.
Yeah, connected to our electrification programs is distribution of solar lamps. No? In other communities, kapag hindi big facility naman ang kailangan, let's say, for example, fishermen, gasera ang gagamitin nila papunta sa laot.
Yes, oo.
Di ba? Now, may solutions na, may solar lamps na, so we provide the solar lamps to them. Ibibilad lang nila sa araw. Sa gabi, magagamit na nila pag nangingisda sila. Today also, we've noticed na while relief goods, for example, are asked during disasters, because they knew One Meralco Foundation is providing solar lamps, yun na yung pinamimigay namin. So, like for example, in Cebu and in, I think in Davao Oriental, after the earthquake, dahil wala pang mga kuryente. Even here, kapag may nasusunugan in the city at nire-repair pa yung power lines, then we provide solar lamps to them.
It's good that you mentioned also, no, yung mga disaster, ang tawag dito yung mga nagkaroon ng disaster sa atin recently, like in Cebu, earthquake, typhoon, etc.
That's right. Yeah.
No, so you also, in One Meralco Foundation, provide these things para dun sa mga typhoon victims.
And aside from that, we work together with other foundations. No? We belong to the MVP group of companies.
So, Alagang Kapatid.
Alagang Kapatid. We have a consortium called Tulong Kapatid. So all of us, Meralco, PLDT Smart, TV5, Maynila, we come together. Recently, we went to Liloan, Cebu, one of the most heavily affected by Typhoon Tino.
Yes.
I think flash floods, no? And we've provided, relief goods according to what we could really provide, no? Like for us, solar lamps, no? Yung ganun ba? Para entire package yung tulong mo sa ating mga kapatid. In fact, they were so lucky. We brought psychological relief by bringing the cast of Manila's Finest also to them. So today, relief comes in many forms na. Hindi lang yung food.
Yes, right.
Di ba? Health and hygiene too. Na-discover namin, solar lamps are very important. So we're prioritizing that now. And then even psychological relief.
Companion relief also, di ba? Minsan,
kailangan may nahihingahan sila ng kanilang pinagdadaanan. And that, a few hours being with their idols are so important in the recovery, di ba? These things really exude a certain level of hope.
It's a holistic approach, kumbaga.
Diba?
But kanina you mentioned also water supplies. We all know how important clean water, di ba? Access to clean water to communities. Can you tell us more about it?
So, particularly when we energize water access facilities, dapat meron ng mga linya or may source of water na, but hindi kasi nakakarating sa mga bahay kasi walang nagpo-push ng water.
Yes.
So that's what we provide. We provide solar power systems that push the water to either level 2, which is common watering stations, and also level 3, which is inside your household. So we work with other foundations. We work with other LGUs. For example, recently we went to Pilar, Sorsogon. May water source sila. Nasa isang barangay pero hindi makarating even in their common watering facilities. So by energizing it, umabot sa 2 barangay and I think about 800 families are now able to access potable water directly from their source. No? Dati-rate, they would spend I think about 600 pesos per yung the big blue.
Wow, 600 per
Oh,
gallon.
yung
Of course,
Gallon.
gallon.
na
So,
yan.
so,
Mahal nun.
so of course, merong enterprising entities or people who would maximize or take advantage of that. When there are already solutions available, may kulang na lang. In that case,
Konting push
power,
lang.
no? Para ma-push yung water. So, yun.
Ang galing nyo naman to think all of these things, ano?
Well, I think it's also about exposing yourself
To the
the communities.
community.
For us in One Meralco Foundation, I think the most critical skill is going beyond desktop research
Exactly.
Yes.
on all of this.
Immersing.
You have to immerse. You have to journey with the community. And you have to journey with organizations so that you can understand better how solutions or what kind of solutions can be provided.
But speaking of immersion, diba, you have immersed to these communities
Yeah.
and you've seen them light up their lives, diba, literally and
Yes.
figuratively. So how does it feel? Pag nandoon ka na and then eto na yung initial na, diba, yung parang maiilawan mo, especially the schools, diba? Anong ano nun?
Of course, there's an instant gratification, satisfaction na kasi sometimes from zero to something.
Yes.
Di ba? From walang kuryente to meron.
Oo.
Di ba? But the impact to me personally is let's do some more. Kasi alam kong marami pang...
Because it can be done.
Yeah, because it can be done. You know, the solutions are available.
Oo.
We're just challenged with resources. That's one. Second, I think leadership also. Diba? We must be able to help our local governments, our local leaders, to really identify fundamental challenges that we must address first.
That's right.
Para the rest will follow.
Okay. So having said that, sabi mo, you should do more, diba? Expand, etc. So are you guys thinking of also expanding it in terms of not just the schools, but also hospitals and other, I don't know, infrastructure that
Out of your franchise
need, ano?
area.
Oo.
Yes, well, marami na naman talaga. Actually, it's reaching the farthest, which is the challenge. Dapat doon tayo mag-expand. Kasi yun yung mga communities doon ang hindi nakakakuha o wala silang access to basic
Yes.
services. Ang dami pa niyan. You know how many barangay health stations we have, rural health stations, for example. We've just energized a livelihood facility of women in Halian Island,
Where
very
is that?
near Siargao.
okay.
So everybody goes to Siargao, enjoys. But I think about 37 minutes away by boat is an island where there are about 200 families.
See?
Dahil walang kuryente, they have to import their water from the mainland.
Wow.
But because they got one foundation to, I think, donate a water system, including a refrigeration system, kaso walang kuryente. So that's where we came in.
Ang maganda rin dyan kasi it also prevents yung mga yung communicable diseases kapag you have
That's right.
clean access water.
That's right.
Oo.
So very fundamental nga. No? So medical services become available. We energized a health center in Kapunayan Island, in the Cuyo group. This is between Palawan and Iloilo.
Yeah.
I think this is where Amanpulo also is. no?
Yeah.
Very near that area. For the first time, after we've energized, they were able to give birth in the health center. Dati-rate, they will have to travel for 2 to 3 hours by boat to the mainland of Cuyo and spend 2,500 pesos for the boat.
Napaka-inspiring ng mga stories.
nga.
So these are the things that we are exposed to. These are the kinds of changes that happen in communities.
So what are your game plan naman for 2026? More communities?
More communities. I hope more funding too that we can get from partners, local governments which are more open to take a look at these very basic things.
Do you need volunteers?
Of course, we need volunteers.
Since you said that you wanted funders and volunteers and like-minded people to help you out, baka you could give them a good Christmas message. Engganyoin sila.
Yes, Christmas does not come only every December.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's a necessity to many Filipinos in faraway communities. Yung makapagdala po tayo ng liwanag ay napakalaking bagay para sa ating mga kababayang Pilipinos. So, if you are inspired by what we are doing in One Meralco Foundation, please get in touch with us. We're present in Facebook, on Instagram. You can go to our website, and you can message us there, and we can get in touch with you and how you can best help Filipinos in need.
Exactly.
Yeah, well
Let's all
said.
light up our lives.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you so much for
Right.
joining us today. Jeffrey Tarayao, President of One Meralco Foundation. Thank you and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.